Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Pass-Christian Chamber of Commerce's Mayor's Forum 2021. I'm Chuck Wood, 2021 Chair of the Pass Chamber of Commerce, the Division of Gulf Coast Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the Chamber is to inform, connect, advocate, and develop for the business community of Pass-Christian and the surrounding area. This program is one of our aids to help you be informed of what's going on. Before we start, I'd like to remind you of a couple other things that the Pass-Christian Chamber has going on. We're currently accepting applications for small business grants, and you can apply those through the MississippiCoastChamber.com. We're also excited to announce that this year we're going to host the first golf tournament, Putting in the Pass, in early June, and that's going to be a nice function. We're going to replace Sip and Saber with that. So now on to why we're here. All the candidates for the mayor's election this year were invited to attend. Tonight we have with us candidates Adam Pace, Jimmy Rafferty, and Zenas Cappy. We thank y'all for coming tonight and sharing your information with us. We'd also like to thank Brad Kessie for donating his time to come tonight and be our MC. Now at this time, I'd like to turn it over to CEO of the Mississippi Gulf Coast Chamber of Commerce, Adele Lyons.
Thank you, candidates. Thank you to everybody who's joining us tonight. As you heard Chuck mention, the mission of the Chamber is to connect, inform, advocate, and develop, and we are squarely covering two of those core values tonight. Through the answers that these candidates provide to you, they'll be informing you of issues within Pass-Christian and their stance on those issues, as well as this is an advocacy forum in an effort just to advocate for democracy as well as for the importance of municipal government. The Chamber accomplishes its mission through a partnership, and Pass-Christian Chamber is one of our 7 divisions, and we're very proud of the Chamber and the work they're doing there, and you've heard about some upcoming events that we have. The Mississippi Gulf Coast Chamber has nearly 915 members representing over 50,000 employees with an excess of over 4,500 contacts. So there is strength in numbers in the business community. If you're interested in joining the Chamber and being part of this effort, please give us a ring at 228-604-0014, or you can visit our website. And now I'd like to bring forward Brad Kessie, the news director with WLOX. He has been really an advocate for the Chamber for many years in helping us with these type of political and election forums, and we have him here with us tonight. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Adele, and good evening, everybody. Candidates, I appreciate you being here. So the viewers at home understand this is very informal. I've got a series of questions that I will ask. They have anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes to answer. I'll cut them off if I think the answers are going too long. Each candidate is going to get 1 to 3 minutes to give an opening statement. We had them draw numbers right before this started so we would know who we go first, second, and third. A reminder that election day for the primary for 2 of these, election day for 2 of the candidates is April 6th, and for the man in the middle, Zenas Cappy, he gets to wait until June 8th, but he's campaigning now because he wants the people of Pass-Christian to know what he stands for. So the opening statements are first in Jimmy Rafferty will share his vision for Pass-Christian.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Rafferty. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone from the Coast Chamber of Commerce, Gabrielle, Adele, Brad, and Chuck for allowing this to happen. I think it's a great thing. I want to let everyone know that I'm running for mayor of Pass-Christian. I'm a conservative Republican, and I was born and raised in Pass-Christian. I have the business experience, I have the passion, and I have the energy to take Pass-Christian to the next level. I'm going to achieve this by getting Pass-Christian to the next level by leading Pass-Christian through a period of measured growth and development of housing and also small businesses. I was jogging down today at the harbor, and I met with one of the local business leaders. And the business leader told me, look, there are no customers. So, well, what? Well, there's no people. What Pass-Christian is in need of right now are more people. I pointed out to the town center, all this undeveloped land, 16 years after Katrina, and there's all this undevelopment. That's what we need. We need people. People claim we need new small businesses. We do. But before we get people, we're not going to have successful small businesses. Subway just closed downtown because we don't have enough. Because we don't have enough people. And that's what we need. We need people, and then once we get people in to service our current small businesses, then other small businesses will come. You know, Pastor Chan is the premier location on the Mississippi Gulf Coast to live, work, and vacation. And we want to keep it that way. You know, Chipper McDermott and the Board of Aldermen have done a phenomenal job in getting Pastor Chan to where it is today. So many of my friends from so many different places come here and make it their vacation home or make it their permanent home. And we want to keep it that way. You know, in the town center, we don't want a casino. We want measured growth. We want something that's in keeping with Pastor Chan being the premier place to be. However, what I think we need right now is we need leadership. And we need can-do leadership. We don't want to have someone just keep telling us the problems. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'm going to come in and I'm going to find a solution. You know, I'm a widower. My children are grown. And I'm going to be a full-time mayor here in Pastor Chan and one who's also resident in this city. I care a lot about this city, passionate about this city, and I'm going to help take it to another level. Thank you.
Jimmy, thank you. We turn it over to Adam Pace for his opening remarks.
Yes. First, I would also like to thank the Chamber and Brad with WLX for having us. We very much appreciate y'all bringing us out to give the city of Pastor Chan and citizens and voters an option and letting them hear this all together on the platform you provided. I'd also would like to thank my wife. This is a difficult decision to make as a family for all candidates. And I appreciate you supporting me and being a great mother to our kids. I love you very much. Thank you for all you've done. To touch on a few things, I'm a Pastor Chan business owner. I own Martin Hardware, I own Past Minded Spirits, and I also own Sazerac Square and some of the other developments and buildings here in town. I think it would go, I would regret not addressing the fact that I tend to disagree with Mr. Rafferty. We owe a great deal of gratitude for the last 16 years of service we've had by our municipal leaders in Pastor Chan. We had a tremendous hole to climb out of, and they did it and never looked back. And I thank them for their service and all they've done for this town and provided for our. I also, you know, Ms. Rafferty, that subway space you speak of quite often. I hate they had the pullback as a national franchise on Subway, but that space is available. We got a lease with your name on it if you're ready. We're here to grow Pastor Chan in the right direction. I love Pastor Chan. I believe in it. I am the right guy to lead this town for the next 4 years. And I'm here tonight to earn your vote, to earn your support, and ask you to come out and vote for me April 6th.
Thank you. We now turn it over to Zanis Cappy for his opening remarks.
How's everybody doing? I'm Zanis Cappy. I'm from Pastor Chan, been in Pastor Chan my whole life. I'd like to thank everybody for inviting me to this platform. That way I can also speak and let everybody know what I'm about.
You gotta hold the mic. If you lay it down, that's how we're getting the reverb.
Got it.
You gotta hold
Okay.
it.
All right, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good. As I was saying, born and raised in Pastor Chan. I started my career in law enforcement in 1999 under John Dugason. I was a police officer in the city for approximately 15 years. Now I'm currently working for DMS International as an armor/EMT. My platform, basically, it's basing it on a foundation of accountability, community, and development. With accountability, we have lived in Pastor Chan. I know myself and Adam lived in Pastor Chan for a while. I just learned about Jimmy, sorry about that. But accountability is one of those things where we've had policies and procedures in the city for a long time. I mean, early 2000s, and right now we're in 2021, and we're still running the same policies. Where it's,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Being a lot of-
Where it's where it's causing a lot of confusion to where people who are actually in City Hall should have had these policies looked over a long time ago. Another thing would be the community. The community that I live in, I speak with everyone, and I've learned that the community knows a lot more than what we think they do. The community right now, in my opinion, is broken into two, because they feel that parts of Pastor Stan is being played more to than the other. If you go downtown, if you go below the railroad tracks, everything looks beautiful. It's a shell. And once you go above the railroad tracks, we have overgrowth, we have nothing around, nothing for the kids, nothing. Last would be the development. Development, yes, I would love to see the city grow with small businesses. It would actually help out, but before we can even do that, in my opinion, I think we should start from scratch, and we should know what we're getting ourselves into, meaning we should have the proper employees that are working. We should have enough employees working, because we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we can't get ourselves out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's start with the words that Jimmy used, and those words were, we need people. Zanis, I'm going to start with you on this question. If Pastor Stan needs more people, many would say it's expensive to live in the city of Pastor Stan, and it's difficult to recruit young people to live in the city. So what do you do to make Pastor Stan more affordable to younger people, the future of the city?
For that, to be honest, I think we should probably think about some of the areas that we don't have anything. We should probably think about putting small businesses. We should think about catering to the younger crowd, middle crowd, older crowd. That's one of our big things. I believe that we're more based on a retirement community more than anything. So the younger crowd, there's nothing to do there. So I mean, for anyone that's around my age, because yes, I'm young, I'd have to go to Bay St. Louis, or I'd have to go to Gulfport, instead of having our own devices over in our city.
Adam, same question. If the city needs people and younger families can be the backbone of the future of the city, how do you recruit them when the city is in many people's eyes an expensive place to live?
Sure. One, is this working? So one, thank you, sir. No problem. I would say that's there's a few avenues to that answer. We've done a great job of trying to grow back Pastor Stan in the direction that we had options to at the time. And now we have to push those directions even further. Last year, Long Beach grew over 500 rooftops. Pastor Stan grew 35, 36. There's room for improvement there. We have to figure out how we can build and where we can build. We obviously are faced with insurance issues, geographic issues, and those have to be overcome. They're not excuses, they're obstacles, and all obstacles can be overcome. I can figure out how to overcome those and help lead us to greater housings. When we say economic development, everyone focuses on that. We've got a lot of businesses and we need more, and we'll focus on that, but we have to grow rooftops and businesses. Mixed-use housing, that's a great option. We can bring in multiple people to one parcel with the right business owner and the right property to bring people and to increase the amount of sales tax or use tax or property tax on one parcel. That will all increase our budget and increase our ability to grow our police department, our fire department, and the rest of our community. So it's a complex answer. We want to make sure that we're not focused on one type of housing. We want to ensure we're not going to lower anyone's home values to subsidize for a lower house. We need to get the right person in, which is all-inclusive in the right way. So we don't want to eliminate anybody. We want to figure out what the option and what the answer is to bring everyone into Pastor Shan that wants to be there.
Jimmy, where do you find the people?
Well, that's exactly what I'm advocating here. When I said development,
We can hear you.
okay, when I said the development of downtown Pastor Shane, what about North Street? I know we have some height issues there where, it's in the flood zone or whatever, but perhaps let's see if we can get some grants and build up. And that's what we need to do. I do agree with Adam that, with this mixed-use housing and so forth, and we need to make it a much more inclusive place, not just developing downtown with housing, with more expensive perhaps, townhouses and so forth, but we also need, housing in other parts of Pastor Shane, notably North Street. And I just think getting the right people together, and that's what I plan on doing right after day one, is getting the right people in the room. And let's start brainstorming. We got lots of issues here in Pastor Shane, and that's how we're going to go about bringing about this measured growth and development and taking Pastor Shane to a higher level.
I need you and Jimmy to share mics. We're having trouble with hearing yours.
Hearing mine, okay.
So, sorry.
That's good. Thank you.
I have a specific question for each one of you, and I'm going to ask Adam his question first. One of your campaign priorities is to maintain a welcoming business community in Pass Christian. How do you plan to achieve this, and how do you plan to support businesses that are struggling?
I need to borrow a microphone.
Oh, sorry about that.
We're all working through. There's a lot going on here. So we're all working through here, and the chamber's doing a great job. We're figuring this out on the go. So y'all bear with us. Brad, I appreciate the question. I get excited about that question because it's what I do for a living. It's what I've done for the last 10 or 12 years. And doing development and working so closely with the city through the Economic Development Commission and creating things such as the economic toolbox that we use to bring tax abatement and lower building codes to make sure that the developer can come in and choose this Pass Christian to build in. Over the last 10 years, I have signed over 20 leases of new businesses in Pass Christian. That's something I'm very proud of. I think it's a great thing to bring that many new businesses to town, and I think I don't want to change one thing about it. I want to continue that track. I'd like to pick up a little speed and bring more businesses, but make sure they're the right business for the Pass. It's a hard thing to bring someone into this community and make sure that they have the staying power to be here and they're the right fit. That's a very important puzzle piece to this. So I would like to continue the work that I've done for a very long time, sitting right here on Davis Avenue and in the rest of Pass Christian, to make sure that we are bringing in commerce, people, and residents that call Pass Christian home.
Jimmy, your question, and I'll give you the mic as soon as I'm finished asking it, is that one of your campaign priorities is to keep taxes low. How do you plan to achieve this while also maintaining current services inside the city?
We're going to do this by bringing more people in, and we're going to increase the tax base, and that's how we're going to keep the taxes low. We're going to have more people and more small businesses. It's very, very clear. We get more people and more small businesses, we have a higher tax base, and then we can also provide more services to our community, namely sidewalks around the high school or a Little League baseball team. We don't even have a Little League baseball team in Pass Christian. You have to go to Long Beach or Bay St. Louis. When I grew up, Hancock Bank had a team. Griffon's Pharmacy had a team, and so forth. That's what we need. And by increasing our tax base, by getting more people in, getting more small businesses in, that's how we increase the tax base. And how we do that as well, we need to do a better job of marketing Pass Christian as being the preeminent place to live, work, and play on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Zanis, can you touch on your plan to keep Pass Christian more sustainable and more equitable?
My plan, basically, like I said, I wanted to start from square one, and that's the businesses and businesses that we have right now. I want us to maintain them because right now, if we went any further between the safety department, meaning the police department, fire department, they wouldn't be able to manage it. I would say we should probably look into the budget of getting more help, as in fire department, police department, public works. Take that back. we've had issues with the city on keeping people, first off, because just alone in 2020, we've lost 28 people. And when I say we lost people, I'm talking about they probably worked there for 2 months and they have gone. So when I talk about going back to the beginning, we have to figure out what's going on with our community, with our employees, what's a better way to even keep people here. That way we can start getting in businesses, and so we can start building the revenue and having a better tax base to start paying for other things.
As I listened to your statements a short time ago, I heard some differences about how the current administration has set Pass Christian up for its future. Jimmy, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to ask this question of all three of you. Do you think at this point Pass Christian should maintain the status quo and allow what has been built over the last few years to continue gaining momentum? Or do you think Pass Christian has to go in a different direction, and that's what you will do as mayor?
No, I just think, like I said earlier, Chipper and the board, they've done a fabulous job to get us where we are now, but we need to put this into overdrive as far as getting the development of bringing people in and bringing small businesses in on a measured basis. That's what we need. We just can't we can't move at this speed right now. What you're having is housing go up everywhere around us, but we have no development. We have no development in downtown, we have no development on North Street and so forth. And getting to what you were saying, by increasing the tax base, we can make Pass Christian better. Look at our Public Works Department. We had 25 people working in Public Works before Katrina. Now we have 10. And then you see look in the ditches and so forth. You can see. So we need a lot. We need to really jump on this right now. We have a wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of building going on. We need to better market Pass Christian.
Sure. Hey, Brad, can I speak to that for a second?
But I'm going in a different order. I'm going to go to Zane a second if that's okay, because he went
sit
there
right
last
here.
time. So
I'll sit right here.
I'm trying to be equitable with who goes first,
Well, I
second, and third.
appreciate that. I'll sit right here.
Zane it's the same question.
Sorry, Zane.
There is some momentum in Pass Christian. Should the next mayor allow that momentum to continue, or do you think if you were elected mayor, you want to take your vision and have Pass Christian go a different way?
At some point, I'm going to have to disagree with Mr. Rafferty. We should go in full throttle. Like right now, going in full throttle, that's how a lot of mistakes are made. And that's where the accountability will come into play, because then you have to answer to whoever. But I think we should go at the pace that we're going right now. We should start developing more of north of the railroad tracks. We should start making it look presentable for people that want to come and live in Pass Christian, and also for businesses for businesses to look towards towards having their business in Pass Christian. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think we should probably be going at the same pace that we're going right now. I mean, we're doing pretty good. Financially, the city is probably one of the best on the coast. So I mean, we're doing good. We're doing great, actually. But I think we should probably take it at a pace that we can go with, because we are a small town.
Okay,
I think I'm working.
you now have your chance to answer the question. And again, the question is status quo, allowing what momentum is currently taking place, or putting the city on a different path?
Sure. So, one thing we need to focus on this, and where we are as the past, where we want to be as the past, and how do we remain the past, all very important avenues to this question. What we can't do is go and say to one answer that the current administration is not doing enough, and then the next answer is say they're doing great. So when we say things like there's no development downtown, we have a building under construction right next to one of our restaurants in the downtown area. We have a project that's a $9 million project. When's the last time we had a $9 million project on the books in downtown Pass Christian? Who went and got that? Our current elected officials and our fearless, as y'all know, leader, Chipper McDermott. He, and only he, went and secured the funds to make that project happen. So we are growing Pass Christian, and there has been growth. If we want to keep saying measured growth, then let's get out the ruler. How much have we grown? How many businesses are in the pass? And why aren't we thanking them as we continue to build past Christian? So measured growth is there, meaning we left a blank canvas after that storm rolled through and devastated our town. And we have one hell of a place to call home today because of our administration. So I am very much in favor of keeping the train on the tracks of the direction we're heading. And I very much credit our department heads, specifically Public Works, and understanding that we had a budget issue there, cutting back in the right areas, and forming the right team to accomplish the goals we've needed.
All right, let's play off of Public Works being down and north of the railroad tracks not looking as pristine as south of the tracks. There are currently 2,000 Mississippi bridges that won't carry legal weight that they were designed to. With Pass Christian being home to numerous bridges that meet this category or are in need of major repair, what are your plans for infrastructure? And Zanis, we'll start with you on the infrastructure question.
On bridges?
Bridges, infrastructure.
Well, my thing is that in order to actually grow Pass Christian, we're going to have to invest in Pass Christian. We're going to have to, because I mean, the street system that we have now, it's old. We have sewage that is old, pipes that need to be replaced. I think we would have to, like I said, invest. We would have to use what we can at the moment and bit by bit try to take care of things that need to be taken care of at the moment. After that, then we can go further with what we want to do.
Adam, your thoughts about how you attack the infrastructure question in the city of Pass Christian? And part of it could be about bridges.
Sure.
And part of it could be about roads.
You're not turning my microphone off.
I hope not. Just talk loud.
So infrastructure's never a fun subject to talk about because it costs a lot. It's not fun, and nobody really feels like they get the return unless it's not working. So unless you've been here for the last 10 years, it's kind of been a hard thing to know what we've done with the infrastructure of the past. So after the storm, a lot of our old water systems and sewer systems, roads, gutters, catch basins have all been redone. The problem with that is we had to do it based off of the housing and the location of buildings that were there before. So today we end up with catch basins that might be in the wrong area because there's not a curb cut, or because water is not flowing right, or because the road was built wider or narrower. So what's important today is, one, our current residents that are paying taxes and spending the dollars to live in our town are happy and satisfied with their drainage, water, and sewer. After that box is checked, then we go tap on the door to one of the biggest resources in Mississippi when it comes to bridges, and that's Gulf Coast pre-stress. A lot of people overlook them. They are the key to many bridges, not only in this state, but on the Gulf Coast, from Texas to Florida and other places. So they'll be a huge asset that we can lean on if we ever need to partner with them on any projects to expand our infrastructure. We also have the Mississippi Lottery that, as we all know, has done a lot to back, with the dollar, infrastructure throughout the state. So what that means is there's more dollars staying in Pass Christian because we're not having to spend them on roads and bridges in other places throughout the state, and the state is keeping our budget where it needs to be so we can remain and continue to grow at the pace we're at.
Jimmy, the infrastructure question to you. Roads, bridges that are deteriorating, sewage issues, what do you do to fix that?
Well, I think what we do, this gets back to, as we increase our tax basis, we can do a better job. But I tell you what, I don't think people are happy right now with the drainage of roads in Pass Christian. I mean, I was riding around Timber Ridge with Victor Pickage. He has a great handle on his ward, and he's out pointing out these things. He sent me some pictures yesterday in the midst of all this rain. Look, Jimmy, look at this. I was on Vista in Beachview, whatever, and there, we couldn't get through. I couldn't get through one side of the street. So people aren't happy. We really need to work together and do a better job of identifying these things and getting these basic services increased. That's what I think we can do, and I think we can achieve this. I know we've had budgetary issues, but we can increase this by going out and better marketing past Christian, getting this growth in, increasing our tax base, and then taking advantage of these things.
Next couple of questions are going to be in a similar vein, but each one goes down a slightly different path. And Adam, I'm going to start with you on this question. What are your plans to draw more visitors to the city of Pass Christian?
So that again, that's a complex answer. You know, one thing Pass Christian I feel is can always say is you know how much we appreciate the New Orleans family that on the weekends or summers often call Pass Christian home. So we need to tap into the markets that already have appreciation for Pass Christian and find dollars that are not necessarily Pass Christian dollars, but dollars that are already earmarked through our Gulf Coast. We can rely right here on the Chamber. They're here to only team up with business owners, and that's their whole goal. We have people that want to partner with Pass Christian, and we have people that want to come to Pass Christian. We've spent dollars in the past on the Mississippi Gulf Coast seafood industry, specifically the Pass Christian Harbor. We need to continue to do that. The seafood industry is a strong resource. There's a lot of people that call Pass Christian home that make their living from oystering, shrimping, floundering, the whole seafood industry. We need to make sure we're supporting them, and we can do that through tourism grants and tourism dollars. We've spent $20,000 5 years ago in the Atlanta Airport, Fort Lauderdale Airport, the New Orleans Airport, all on billboard signage and through magazines to make sure that we were promoting Pass Christian, oysters, seafood, and the industry we call home.
Jimmy, what is your plan to bring visitors to your city?
Well, I think we need to better market. You know, I've not yet seen, some of those signs or whatever, and I think we just need to do better marketing in Mobile, Jackson, Memphis, New Orleans, everywhere. We need to get that. We have such a wonderful thing here. Also, if we have more events, we had a fishing rodeo when I was young. That's something we should have. Seafood festival, we should have that. We should have many more events. We have all this land down at the harbor. We should be really helping, support many more different festivals. We could have bonfires on the beach sponsored by the town. I mean, we have the longest man-made beach in the world. Why aren't we taking advantage of it at all in Pass Christian? And what I will do after I'm elected mayor is we will get people, we will establish a group, and here again, we'll start it'll be a brainstorming session. How can we bring more tourists to this town, and how can we get people to better enjoy it as well?
Zanis, your thoughts about getting visitors to your city? How do you do it?
I'm going to go back to the beginning of we're going to have to clean up all of Pass Christian, not just some of Pass Christian. Just to touch bases on the sewage and drainage that Pace was speaking of. In 2011, we spent, we actually received $10.5 million federal grant to clean up the area of downtown, but we didn't do anything north of that. That's what we need to market downtown, yes, but we need to also clean up what we have right now in order for people to come, because you don't want people to come to your city. You go to downtown, it's like amazing, but then you go north of the tracks and it's like, what happened? So yes, we do need to market, but we also need to clean up our area before we can do anything.
I'm going to go to Jimmy first on this one. Second tourism-related question, and it plays a little off of what Adam said because he mentioned New Orleans. 6 months after the next mayor is sworn in, Amtrak is going to start rolling from both New Orleans and Mobile, stopping in Bay St. Louis and stopping in Gulfport. What's your plan to try to get some of those Amtrak passengers from Gulfport or from Bay St. Louis into the shops in downtown Pass Christian?
Well, we need to get them into the shops in Pass Christian. We also need to get people, help facilitate ways to get people from Pass Christian to those sites to go take the Amtrak as well. I mean, growing up, they had a train station here in Pass Christian. But I just feel that we have some sort of maybe a transit to get them to go to either Gulfport or to Bay St. Louis, to get people from Pass Christian, and in so doing, we'll also get people to come here. Here again, if we market Pass Christian, people are going to come from New Orleans, they're going to go to Bay St. Louis or go to Gulfport. If we make Pass Christian a very attractive place, if we have much more vibrant small businesses here, a greater number of restaurants, you know, there's a lot of area. I mean, look at Bay St. Louis. You can drive your boat up right to the harbor, and you can go to restaurants. You can walk right to restaurants. We don't have that ability yet here in Pass Christian. But if we get this group, after day one of my becoming mayor, we get this group together and we start thinking of ways. How can we capitalize off of what other cities are doing here on the coast and bring that here to Pass Christian?
Zanis, how do you envision Pass Christian taking advantage of Amtrak and getting people who are stopping in and getting off the train in Bay St. Louis, or getting off the train in Gulfport, get them into the shops, get them over to the harbor in Pass Christian?
I guess we'd have to start marketing off, you know, having some kind of pamphlets, flyers, or anything like that that are in these train stations to let people know, hey, there is a town here called Pass Christian. I agree with Jimmy, having some kind of type of transportation that goes straight from Gulfport to Pass Christian, maybe even stop in Long Beach before they go to Bay St. Louis. So I mean, that's the only thing I can see right now. Hopefully in the future we should be able to have our own little station like we used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Adam,
Yes, sir.
how do you take advantage of Amtrak?
You know, I think on a lot of these things, I don't feel like we have to reinvent the wheel. I appreciate the partnerships we have with the Pass Christian Chamber, and we need to utilize those partnerships and go and reach out and say, how are we doing this across the coast, and how can we do this at Pass Christian better? And I remember the day that we all sat there on the dirt road in the middle of Davis Avenue and said, man, I think it'd be great to have a traffic problem here one day. Well, it's here. It's something we need to work on and adjust. So now that we have those problems, we need to continue to grow and go and say, hey, I would love to be able to have a shuttle service one day, and if somebody wants to come off of the train and come to Pass Christian, we give them that option. Something we can look at. We got to keep in mind that we're using the tax dollars, the citizens' dollars, to do that program and make sure it's working, and we're getting a return on it. There's things out there, just like the chamber, just like programs of shuttle services that we have all over. We should be running shuttle services, whether it's golf cart systems or other systems, to increase the movement around our town. There's people that would go to multiple businesses at one time, or go and have appetizers one place, dinner another place, and dessert in the next, if we made that an option. So we have to get a little creative in our thinking, but we got to rely on the people of Pass Christian and the reason that people want to come here, and that's the humbleness and the characters and the places that make up Pass Christian. That's why you visit Pass Christian, because we are the best town on the coast.
Zanis, let's look south of Highway 90. And the city of Pass Christian has a beautiful new harbor adjacent to the commercial harbor next to it. And just beyond the harbor is water and oyster reefs, except the oyster reefs don't have oysters. And there's a real concern that they may not have oysters again in the near future. How do you save, if you're the mayor, your harbors from losing tenants and making sure the harbors remain a vibrant part of the city?
Man, you hit me with that one. Okay. I'm not a big fisherman, so I mean, the only thing that I can actually say is probably get with some marine biologists, probably, like I said, invest and have someone come out and test the waters. Something may be wrong with the waters. If so, I mean, there's things that we could possibly do, like get more reefs made. But to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you on anything on the water.
Adam, similar question, same question. How do you save the harbors if the oyster industry doesn't come back soon? How do you make sure that boaters want to keep their vessels in the Pass Christian Harbor?
Sure. So I've had the luxury of being on the commission, the Harbor Expansion Commission, when the Secretary of State, Mr. Delbert Hoseman, at the time came and gave us the opportunity and $32 million to go with it to rebuild or expand the harbor of Pass Christian after Hurricane Katrina. It was a tall task to do that, and they looked at other cities on the coast, but they knew we were the right city, and we're still the right city. The fishing industry is tough. It's always been tough. But the only thing more tough than the fishing industry are those that fish it. We need to support them, and we'll continue to support them. Obviously, the oyster situation has changed. I don't have the answers to fix oysters because there's a lot of smart people with a lot of degrees that don't have the answers. All I can say is, as your leader, I'll support you and work tirelessly to support the harbor. We have a great pleasure department, and the difference in us in Bay St. Louis is we are a harbor. They are a marina, and I love that about the Pass. I love that we have the fishermen and we have the pleasure yachter. We have the sailing camps. We have it all. We're 8.9 miles from Cat Island. We're just around the bend to Back Bay. We can get out of the way of the storm. We have the best place to call home. Our harbor is one of those reasons. Our fishing industry is one of those reasons, and that won't change under my watch.
Jimmy, you may not be able to save the oyster industry because none of us are smart enough to do that, but you can have a say if you're mayor in saving the harbors and making sure that boats still tie up there, even if the industry struggles. So how do you do that?
Well, here again, we have 500 slips in the harbor right now. And because the Long Beach harbor was destroyed, we have a lot of those boats who are in the harbor are from Long Beach. And as soon as their harbor gets fixed, those boats are going back. So we're going to have even more, vacant places right here. Here again, we need people. We need people here in Pass Christian to help grow on a measured basis. Once they're here, once we have people, we're going to have more pleasure boats. And just like, Adam was saying, it's a wonderful place here. But if we made it, we could leverage off of what's going on in Bay St. Louis if we had the people and if we had the businesses right there. That's how we revitalize the harbor.
Zane, this is your third this time, but this is a question you're going to like. It's right up your alley. Bring it.
You got it.
And we'll start, I think I'm on Adam this time. So how do you best support the police and fire departments to maintain a safe community with low crime?
Well, I didn't want to ask you if I could add one thing to the harbor because I already got in trouble for speaking out of turn.
If you
so
want
I'm going to jump in real quick on that. I do want to give credit. We are already working on making the harbor better, and it has been on the city agenda the last few meetings with Shaggy's just working tirelessly and their owners to not only grow back their harbor and their fishing piers and go ahead and use private dollars to make sure that those piers are ready, but they work with the local charter guides and make sure they were included in it and make sure that we didn't lose that industry. So a lot of credit due to them, and thanks for all they do. So importantly, back to the question is, how do we support our police department and our fire department? I can speak a lot on this. I've served on the Civil Service Commission. I'm the chair of the Civil Service Commission. Zanis deserves a lot of credit for his work with Pass Christian Police Department and his willingness to lead as a law enforcement officer. And he knows firsthand that we had some problems and we could not retain people. We made a change from Chief Duke's son that served here for a long time and had a new chief come in, and now we're settled on Chief Freeman and Chief Gordon with the fire department, and they are great leaders and great stewards of their trade. And we have now retained and created programs that not only are Pass Christian Fire Department and Police Department remaining here in town, but they're calling town home. These are not people that are coming from other areas. They want to live in the community they serve. We've come a great long way. We have our own dispatch now in Pass Christian Police Department. It's being dedicated tomorrow, I believe, to one of our former detectives. We're putting dollars back into our departments as our departments are putting dollars back into our community with their blood, sweat, and tears. We've just picked up 2 brand new fire trucks, I believe $650,000 to $700,000 a piece. We're focusing on the next round of fire trucks. Why is that? Because everybody's growing on stilts now, or piers or columns, however you want to call it. We're raised houses, and those raised houses are 2-story. So in anywhere else in the world, that would be a 3-story house. We have fire departments that can't house ladder trucks. That's something we have to look at now. We have to come up with a plan so we don't have a budget issue when that comes up. These are all things that we're doing now, and we have probably the most strong fire and the police department that we've ever had, from bottom to top, and we have great leaders and great firemen and great policemen and women in all of those departments.
Jimmy, how would your administration best support the police and fire departments to maintain a safe, low-crime city?
Well, I agree with, everything that Adam and Zanis have said. We do have the finest police and fire departments around. From what I understand, they're very adequately staffed. However, we do have some significant issues on turnover, and that's an issue whereby for a few dollars more an hour, some of them go to Biloxi or Gulfport or so forth. I've been in compensation for 30 years, and that's one of the issues that I would come in and take a look at, because we really need to make sure that people are paid competitively. Also, we're giving them the proper training and building the right value proposition for them to want to continue to make Pass Christian their home. But here again, we do have the finest staffs here. I've met with both Dwight and Darren, and their teams are wonderful here. We have a low crime rate. We do have, like you said, we have new fire engines. Unfortunately, like you said, to get a really high ladder, we have to go to Long Beach. We have an agreement with Long Beach for those, but maybe one day we'll have that type of ladder, whereby we don't have to go to Long Beach. And how we go about getting that is through this measured growth. And once we expand our tax base, then we can get those types of fire engines.
And Zanis, what would your administration do to support the police department, the fire department? Make the city as safe and livable as possible.
All right. This is a sensitive subject for me because I left the city because we weren't making enough. I put myself in a financial bind to where I had to go and work somewhere else because I wasn't getting paid enough. Loved the city, did not want to leave the city. But financially, that is why we're losing so many officers. Like Mr. Rafferty said, a couple of dollars more and it will get you somewhere else. People have to realize, in Pass Christian, there's 4 shifts, and there's 3 person per shift, to where if something major happens, they're going to have to prioritize. And it shouldn't be that way, because in that sense, you're putting an officer's life in danger. And that's why, for me, I would actually want to invest. I know I keep using the word invest, but invest in our police and our fire for more training, more better equipment.
Yeah. For
the fire department, most of the fire departments on the Gulf Coast, most of them are registered EMTs. In Pass Christian, we probably have a couple. We need to be on the same level as everyone else, especially when it comes to safety. Before we can move forward with anything with the city, I believe that we should put our time and invest our money into our safety, because if they're not there, who's going to protect you?
Yep.
I'm looking for the question I wanted to ask next. It's about education. And Jimmy, we start this with you. How important is it for your administration to work with the Pass Christian School District, the school board, to make sure that education continues to flourish the way it has in your city?
Well, put it this way. The children are the future of Pass Christian. And, just like we had the debate the other night, it was at Pass Christian High School. And it's all about the kids, and we want to make it such that one day they can go out, fulfill their dreams, and come back and be able to afford to live in Pass Christian. But getting back to the school system itself, I've gotten to know Dr. Evers through the Rotary, and she mentioned the other night at the debate, we have a Harvard-style educational system here in Pass Christian, and we want to keep it that way. It is unbelievable that today at Pass Christian, you can go and with college placement courses, you can take now up to 3 semesters. You can actually enter college now and only be 1 semester away from getting an associate's degree, and that's by attending our schools. And the reason why we have schools is that what we do is we have excellent staff. We've done a very good job. We have very competitive pay rates for them, and I just feel that this is something that right now we have one of the top school systems in the state. You know, here we're competing against Gulfport and Biloxi in this, and that's really phenomenal. And it all comes down to the people, and I just think we continue doing what we're doing right now. I think we have a big challenge, though, because it just so happens that the county is growing faster than the city. That's even an issue that Chipper has brought to everyone's attention, that's something we need to keep a look at down the road. Because as the county continues to grow relative to the city, those are going to pose problems to our school system. But the bottom line is, let's just keep doing what we're doing right now. We have a premier school system. Let's just do everything that we're doing now.
Zanis, what would your administration do to work with Dr. Evers, to work with the Pass Christian School Board, to make what already is a great district even better?
Be honest, Chipper and the aldermen, they have done a wonderful job keeping a relationship with the school, because the school is one of the best schools in the state, and we want to keep it that way. And for me, I would give them whatever they would like, to be honest with you, because like Jimmy said, that's our future. And one day, one of these kids are going to come back and they're going to end up being mayor. And I want them to have the best education possible. Me working in the school system, my last 2 years working in the city, I worked in the school system, so I got to work with Dr. Evers and all the principals, and I even got to spend most of my time with the kids. And so that's one of my biggest focuses is on the kids, or the children, because I want them to flourish and grow. Because there's nothing better than to see someone that came from your hometown doing something amazing.
And Adam, your administration, what would it do to forge an even greater relationship with the Pass Christian School District?
Sure. So this is a subject that's pretty sincere to our house, as my wife is a school teacher here at the Pass Christian School District. She has moved into curriculum and works with both DeLille and Pass Christian elementary schools, and it's a very interesting situation on how the business of the city and the business of the school district interact together. And we as a community, foremost, have to do whatever it is to support the school district. And they make up our community. The children are the answer to tomorrow. We all know that. How does the business of the city and how does the business of the school district work together? Well, you know, the facilities are owned by the school district. The budget is owned by the school district. We appoint 2 people to the school board. We have to make sure those people are the right people and engaged. We have to go from the top down, from the school district, it starts with Dr. Evers, and make sure that she has the resources that she needs from us, that we are good stewards and good partners as we share the Pass Christian name. And it's important that we're open-minded if they come to us and say that their budget is no longer sufficient and they want to look at a millage increase. We have to be open-minded and know if we're ever going to increase anything in this town, it will be for the children of tomorrow.
Zanis, we'll start this round with you. Pass Christian's downtown continues to be one of the crown jewels of the city. How do you plan to allow small businesses in the downtown area to flourish and grow the tax base of the city while maintaining the city's small town southern charm?
I think the way that downtown is set up, it's really nice. We could have a little bit more businesses down there. Keeping it small town charm, like I said, we would have to basically clean up all of Pass Christian, meaning worry about what's going on beyond downtown, because in my opinion, downtown is amazing and it's got a small town feel to it. Everybody likes to go down there. I've been down there recently to the whiskey bar and it's amazing. But in order to keep that, I think that we should also worry about the rest of Pass Christian. That way, and I'm not saying have businesses all over Pass Christian, but you know, just in the areas where there's residential property, I think we should have houses built up. Everything should be, drainage should be worked on. Everything should be kept up to keep the image going from downtown. Because like I said, you go downtown and it's great. You go above that and it's what happened. I want it to keep on going great. I want everybody to be like, hey, I want to move to Pass Christian. This place is amazing. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Adam, your thoughts, and I'm sure you have some, about downtown flourishing. And so what would your administration do to grow the tax base of the downtown area, yet maintain the city's southern charm?
Yeah, I've given it some thought, and you know, I think that we have a lot to offer anyone that's looking to open a business here in town. But all of the stars have to align if someone doesn't have enough money. We have to bring in development as well as someone willing to open a business here, and we have to create incentives to open those businesses. I have no issues with telling someone we're willing to work with them, because I know how hard it is to put food on the table, supporting it from a small business of Pass Christian. We appreciate our customers. We appreciate the community that we've decided to invest in, but it is hard to run a small business anywhere. So I think we have a lot of great, I think 4 or 5 different great realtors, very passionate realtors in this town, and they would be the first to tell you that we have no inventory when it comes to housing, and the rental market is off the charts. So that in itself tells me mixed use is a strong answer to this. When someone can go and take one piece of property and bring 4 or 5 different incomes from it, it changes the ballgame. We have to work with developers in other places that are doing this and tell them we want them to do it here, and we're the right person and place to work with. I know how to do that because I've done it.
Jimmy, how do you see downtown continuing to flourish? And what would your administration do to make that happen and yet keep the southern charm of the downtown Pass Christian area?
Well, you know, I see a very small part of downtown Pass Christian flourishing right now. And that's why I think we need continued growth. We need more people. Look at Market Street right now. Right now, of course, we're getting ready to have a big investment there, but we still have on the east side, there's nothing there. So here again, we need to attract developers and new people to come in. I've already had discussions with a number of developers, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to find out what is the right way to incent them to come in, and then give them the right sort of tax incentives and so forth to be able to want to come in and be able to develop the areas, and then we'll be able to increase our tax base and then do all the things that we've discussed. But I just feel right now, Pass Christian is very charming. I mean, I was born and raised here. We want to keep it the premier residential place to be on the coast. However, it needs help. And that's all I'm saying. We need to leverage off of what we've done in the past, but we have to have a can-do attitude about this. We can't just say, okay, this can't be done. Because we can't put up 16 years from now, we can't look down West Scenic Drive and see what we see today.
I've heard all of you talk about the area north of the tracks. Adam, we're starting with you on this question. What is the one thing people who live north of the tracks are telling you as you're on the campaign trail? And what is the first thing that your administration will do to help those people?
So north of the tracks, biggest issue is the elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked for over 10 years on the Pass Christian Planning Commission. We brought the SMART code in and understood that it was not perfect, and it was a living document that needed to continue to change, as we do continue to change it, and try to make sure that if you want to build here, we're giving you the option, and we are an easy place to work with. So I can't do anything about the elevation. I can't do a whole lot about the insurance company and insurance standards. But what we can do is offer the rest of the puzzle, which is our community, our businesses, our churches, our municipality, and all of that overcome the obstacles to create the incentive to be here. We all know Pass Christian is the best place to live on the coast. We just need to bring these people in and invite them and help them along the way on a parcel by parcel basis and have open doors.
Jimmy, what are the people north of the tracks telling you as you're campaigning, and what's the first thing your administration will do to help people who live and work north of the tracks?
Well, here again, we need to get people together right after day one of my administration, and we're going to brainstorm this. Because, as Adam and Zane have pointed out, we have some very tough issues up there. But what people are saying to me is, why is everything happening south of the railroad tracks on Davis Avenue and so forth? We have a lot of land there. I agree. Elevation's a big issue. But it's amazing how other towns have been able to deal with some of the elevation issues. I mean, I went into this gentleman's house. This guy's 85 years old on Swanson Avenue, I think. And he had 85 years old, and he has to climb up, 20 feet of stairs. And it's my understanding, they were able to deal with these things, get certain grants in New Orleans to help deal with these kinds of issues. Why haven't we gone out and gotten some of these grants to be able to put elevators in people's homes? So I think that's what we need to do. We need to get the right people together with the can-do attitude, and let's get things done.
Zanis, you've talked about it a couple of different times.
Yes, sir.
So north of the tracks, what are people telling you? And what do you do to fix that area first? First thing you do.
Well, a lot of people tell me that they need boats because the drainage north of the tracks is horrible. The rain that just came through, I can show you numerous houses that had water everywhere. I couldn't tell you when the last time Public Works was able to get to the drainage because there's a huge drainage area between Fleetus, Grayson, Morton that needs to be dug out every now and then. But that's the main thing is a lot of people are having trouble with the water. Thing that I can do is basically make sure that we maintain the drainage system. That way it's a free flowing instead of just backing up and going into people's yards and whatnot. Because right now it's getting to the point to where there's rats, mice that are coming out and venturing off into people's homes and whatnot. But my first thing is I would actually try to look at the drainage system for those guys. Another thing is that a lot of people, and I know this is far-fetched at the moment, but a lot of people want a sidewalk on North Street. And I know it costs tons of money, but that's one of the things that the people want because they feel like, well, let me tell you like this, North Street is long enough to where you could have a sidewalk, but a lot of people walk in the middle of the street, and as a police officer there, I've seen numerous people get hit by cars. And I have to agree with them, but I know it does cost a lot of money to have that done. But those are some of the things that the people want, and they also want something that their kids can do as well. Have a place for their kids to go.
Yep.
We have reached the end of our time. I do have one more question. There are a lot of things that you gentlemen can be doing with your lives right now. And yet each one of you has chosen to campaign to run to be the mayor of the city of Pass Christian. So Mr. Rafferty, we're going to start with you. Why do you want to be the mayor of Pass Christian?
My grandfather was mayor back in 1936. And, I have a passion for this town. Born and raised here. And moved back here a number of years ago. Lost my wife to cancer a couple of years ago. And I've been looking for a purpose. And it came upon me. A number of people asked me about it. And it's a good way of giving back. Right now I'm retired. My children are grown. And I'm going to be a full-time mayor. And I just think I have the energy and the passion for it. And a can do. I'm not going to just give you problem. I'm going to give you solution.
Zanis, there are a lot of things you could be doing right now.
Yes.
So why run to be mayor of Pass Christian?
Let's see. That's a good question. No, I'm checking with you. Being from Pass Christian, honestly, I love the city. I think I have the personality for it. Throughout my whole career, I've gotten to speak with people on every kind of level that there is, and I just actually love people. Genuinely, I want to do something good for the city of Pass Christian because that's my home. I moved a few times and I came right back home. So I mean, that's the place that I love. That's where I'm going to stay. And win, lose, or draw, I'm still going to be in the city, and I'm still going to try to do more for the city.
Mr. Pace, you're a businessman. You should be focused on your business, but you're not. Well, you are, but you're also focused on trying to be mayor of Pass Christian. Why do you want to run, and why do you want to be mayor?
Sure. I want to be the mayor, but I'm privileged to sit here to have the opportunity to run to be a mayor, and I appreciate that. The reason why I think I'm the right person is because I'm called to do this. I feel called to do this. And just like 10 years ago, when there was a need to step up and serve, today, when Chipper has earned the right to step down, there was a need for someone to step up. I feel that need is properly served by me. I know this town. I believe in this town. I know that I have the background and experience to run this town and to work with each of you as citizens, to work with our department heads, and to continue to serve in all the aspects that I've served over the last 10 years to help grow us into a better tomorrow. I think it would go, I would feel regret if I went without telling these guys that I appreciate y'all being here and stepping up, being willing to serve. It's not an easy thing. We've all learned that. You know, as President Roosevelt said, the man in the arena is the one who gets the credit. And right now we're in the arena together. All of our passion is very evident that we love this town. And we're all very, very excited about the opportunity to try to lead this town to a better place. I feel that I do have the right background, and I do ask for your vote April 6th.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for this last hour. I think the voters of Pass Christian learned a lot. A reminder that the primary is on April 6th. If you're a Republican, you will be voting for mayor for either Adam Pace or Jimmy Rafferty. The winner of that primary will be in the June 8th general election, and that's where Zenas Cappy's name will be seen on ballot. Zenas Cappy.
It's Zenas.
I said that one wrong. I know. I
Said
apologize.
Zenas.
Yeah. Zenas Cappy's name will be on the ballot June 8th. Gabrielle, it is your turn to come to the microphone.
I hope this thing works. Just kidding. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for bearing with us through some sound issues. I promise we tested the microphones before we got started. But I just want to say thank you again. This does conclude our program today. Thank you to our candidates, Adam Pace, Zenas Cappy, and Jimmy Rafferty. Thank you to our wonderful MC, Brad Kessie, for his partnership. I'd also like to thank the Chamber Chair, Dr. Chuck Wood. We are very thankful for his leadership. And we hope you'll stay tuned for some of our upcoming events. As we mentioned, we'll be doing putting in the pass, and I'd be remiss to say that we are also going to be doing a Cheers to Chippers. So stay tuned for that. We cannot go without thanking our current mayor and all that he's done for the city. So thank you again. Thank you for inviting us into your homes tonight and tuning in Facebook Live. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for all of the Chamber's upcoming programs on mscoastchamber.com, and everyone have a safe and wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.